Hello and welcome to the live chat where we're here giving you the latest West Ham gossip, and we're going to be discussing it in detail. I'll be putting Gonzo on the firing line. If he tries to sit on the fence, I'll be dragging him right back off it. He ain't getting on that fence. We've got a lot to talk about. Myself and Gonzo were speaking the other day. We're saying there's not a lot of transfer news, then bang, there's heaps of it all on a Monday. Gonzo, let's talk about the guy that we're pretty certain he's going to be joining us, aren't we, from Valencia on a free Feghouli. I believe that's how you say his name. I don't know, actually. What do you know about him?
Yeah, Feghouli, yeah, he's got excellent ball control. No, he's on a free. He's on a free from Valencia. I think the club are pretty hopeful and confident of sealing up the deal. He's quite fast. He's very skillful, and I think we've done well to. If we seal the deal, we've done very well to get a guy of that caliber in. Looks like if somebody others you're going to discuss come in as well, we're going to be absolutely blessed on the wings, which brings up its own question about where Antonio's going to play, of course.
So, have you seen much of him yourself, or are you just going by YouTube clips?
Always YouTube clips. Yeah. No, we were linked with him. I think pretty much anybody who's everyone in the world in the know was talking about him a couple of weeks ago, and Hugh's contacts are excellent, and they were talking about him, and I think ex-employee was talking about him. Jack Sullivan tweeted it out, so I mean it's no secret really there now. Had a look on YouTube, and he looks. I mean, he does look decent. There's no doubt about it. And unlike some of these grainy clips that you sometimes get with a lot of players, La Liga's got pretty good coverage. It's got pretty good footage. So I'm a lot more inclined to believe other people when they say they've seen him play. Valencia are a sort of high-profile team anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought I'd heard of him. I think the way I've heard of him is the Brazil World Cup for Algeria. So I went and had a look, and turns out he did play in the Brazil World Cup. So I thought the name was a bit familiar. I didn't see too much of him. However, Gonzo, was it a massive thing for West Ham that this guy's linked with Man U, Sevilla, and Inter Milan, etc., and he's coming to us? And one of the key reasons, apparently, is the fact he sat down with our gaffer, and our gaffer said, "I want you at West Ham," and he believes in the project. Is that a huge significance that we're now pooling people that are linked with these clubs?
Yes, is the straight answer to your question. But if that is the case, and he spoke with Bilic, and Bilic persuaded him, then really Bilic just goes further and further up in my estimations with everything he does. If he seems to understand the West Ham fans, and if last season beating all the big teams wasn't good enough, you see him on the telly. Look how he's performing on the telly. He speaks candidly, he speaks honestly. I mean, he's a really, really likeable guy. I'm not surprised that when he sits down in front of the players that they like him and that he can persuade them to come and join us. So absolutely, yeah, big feather in the cap for the club, really.
Over on Twitter, Graham Taylor 5 says, a great signing and a statement of intent. And Benny Boy WHUFC says, imagine Payet, Lanzini and Feghouli behind Lacazette. We'll be talking about Lacazette in the show at some point. If you want to keep your questions in, though, you can put them into us. If you're watching them on the Google, we've got a Q&A thing open. Fire them in, or you can tweet us them in the set chat. And if you want to discuss it in length, come on to our forum at hammerschat.com. Gonzo, we mentioned there the fact that we're bringing in another attacking midfielder. So let's go and talk about Torre. He's been Bilic's target since last summer, I think, but for whatever reason last summer it didn't happen. We went after other players. We're going after him this summer. Bilic just publicly stated that he wants him. Puts a little bit of pressure on the club, do you think, when your manager's coming out saying, I want him?
Yes and no. I think he's probably there, as we've spoken about before. I think David Sullivan is, by all intents and purposes, director of football, ably assisted by Tony Henry. I think they're choosing most of the players. I think perhaps Lacazette is one of those players that they've chosen. So, whilst I don't think they're giving the manager everything he wants, I think he's given one or two players who he's worked with before and who he knows. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I also don't think the fee for the player is going to be huge. So, no, I don't think he puts a lot of pressure. I think he deserves a player or two.
So that's two attacking midfielders now. Extra time points in his column. We're not going after any more right backs. That's it. We're not going after right back. Antonio's there. We've spoke about this in length. Every review we did last season, we seemed to scratch our heads thinking, is Bilic planning something with Antonio? Why is he putting up with him at right back? It seems that he is going to be. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on this? Because you were very much against Same at right back at the back end of last season. Is that still the same, or are you starting to think, right, maybe there's something to this?
Well, I think at some point you have to say it in Slaven we trust, but I still do think that I still would. It's not I was dead against Antonio at right back. It's just he's so effective on the wing. And as good as this Feghouli may well be, is he going to outscore and out-assist what Antonio would do given a full season on the right wing at West Ham? I doubt it because, I mean, Antonio's output is excellent. But you know what? They say with these transfers, there's no smoke without fire. So we get linked with Benteke and Lacazette and Baka, and there's no smoke without fire. There's some truth, a little bit of truth in each of those. But I also think by the same token, it's telling that we haven't been linked with any right backs. And it does sort of suggest we're not looking at any at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, is it going to be Byram understudying Antonio and what's happening with Tompkins? Yeah, I mean, it does look like he's going to play it right back next year.
Well, Tom, our regular Tom on YouTube and on the forum, says right back will hinder us next season. The only logical formation would be 3 centre backs, 2 wing backs, 4 midfielders, 1 striker. Not a formation I've heard of before. Rob Elliott 17 over on our forum at hammerschat.com says Antonio at right back worries me. We conceded a lot of goals last season due to his individual errors. I don't blame him though. That's not his position. He offers so much going forward. It just seems like a waste of his talents. Now, what I'm going to say to you, Gonzo, is would you agree that Antonio is best when we're counter-attacking, when he's got the space, he's got the pace, he's got the power as well? Would you agree that he's perhaps more suited to a counter-attacking West Ham rather than one with the team boxed in and we're looking to pass it about a bit?
Well, I think West Ham are counter-attacking. I think that's how we play. There's no doubt about it. We are a counter-attacking team. We hit them on the break, but within that, we play fast and we play skillfully within that sort of attacking. Was it Rob? Did you say Rob Elliott? Yeah. I think he's got a really good point because we were shaky at the back. We were really shaky at the back. We let a lot of goals in towards the end of last season, even in the humdinger in the last game against Man U. The defence looked shaky. So yeah, yes, does he suit a counter-attacking style? Yes, if as Tom's newfangled formation, if that were the case and he was a wing back, then yes, it's very hard to sometimes tell when the team is set up exactly what Bilic is playing. But hey, you know what? It works. It's been excellent. He knows a lot more about it than I do.
So do you think perhaps, this is just my own opinion, do you think perhaps next season we're not going to be able to play a counter-attacking football so much because they're going to be switched on a bit more about us. They're going to know a lot more about us, about Bilic's play. So are they going to think, right, we're going to sit in and you're going to have to pass the ball about? I'm not sure Antonio can do the passy type thing because his end product sometimes questionable, which makes him good at the same time. Do you think Bilic is maybe thinking he needs more all-round complete players like Lanzini and that who are comfortable on the ball, and you allow Antonio and Creswell to stay wide and whip the ball in?
Maybe. It depends what he wants to do. If he signs Lacazette, who's not a big guy, then how many crosses could be coming in? Brings Carroll on, he's going to want crosses coming in. If teams do sit back, like you said, and encourage us on, I'm not bothered. You know what? I need Payet, Lanzini, some of the other guys that seem to be coming in with more flair. I'm confident that we can take one. Plus, give us a good striker in the box, which we missed last season, a consistent striker that stayed injury-free, who stuck the ball in the back of the net. I'd take us to either counter-attack teams or to try and break a stubborn team down.
Right, let's talk about, we just spoke about Tory, let's talk about his teammate Hutchinson. 33 years old, plays defensive midfield, he can cover right back. Bilic obviously knows him very well as well, 2 years with him in Turkey. A strange choice for a transfer, do you think, Gonzo, or what's your thinking behind that one?
No, I don't. It actually makes sense, particularly if you're not really spending any money on the guy. I think that the big one for, whatever 30-year-old Baka, a lot of money for that guy, that's a bit different. But 33 years of age, he would be Obiang's replacement. I think, I've been talking for a long time. I think Obiang is off. And I'm not as disappointed as everybody else. He looks to me, Hutchinson, he looks like a... Kiete is going to go off to the African Cup of Nations, and he very much looks. He's of a similar build. He's tall. He's skinny. He's athletic. He tackles, he passes. I think that's why he's got him in, and I think it's sensible. And I was never comfortable if Senegal go all the way, to the finals, semi-finals. I mean, Kiate's going to be away for 6 weeks. I was never comfortable with Obiang being in that position for 6 weeks because I don't think he excels at tackling. And I don't think he offers much going forward. I think he's a tidy enough player. He's a 6 out of 10 player, but I don't think that, I don't think for 6 weeks in the heat of the season it's going to be enough. So I think it's a good signing.
Well, this is where me and Gonzo disagree because I think Obiang's fantastic. I don't think he needs to offer anything going forward. That is not his job. And sometimes if you're a good enough defensive midfielder, you don't have to tackle as such because you can read the game and you can intercept the ball. That's how I see Obiang. You guys are going to agree with one of us probably, so you can let us know over on our forum at hammerschat.com after the show. Let us know, slag us off, doesn't matter. So you're happy with Hutchinson coming in then? Do you think that's Bilic's thinking? Antonio right back, I get my 33-year-old in who can cover there if things go pear-shaped.
Yes, but don't forget he's also signed a Havard Nordvoet, as I've just probably slaughtered that name. But yeah, so he's signed him. Apparently it's the same gig with that fella. Plays central midfield, can play right back, and can also cover centre back. So I think it's a wise thing to do actually to get a few utility players into your squad. And perhaps we're just trying to pigeonhole Antonio in a way that Bilic isn't. Perhaps Bilic is thinking, you know what, he's a good player for me. He's going to play some at right wing, some at right back. Nordfeldt is going to play some at centre midfield, some at centre back. Maybe that's just the way it's going to be, and the same with this Hutchinson. Maybe there's going to be a rotation of positions in many respects, and so yeah. I mean, I think they're all good moves, but it certainly leans towards Antonio playing right back to start perhaps the first game of the season.
Well, let's talk about our own striker. We spoke about him a couple of weeks ago. Now you really do want him to go. You're a big fan of him. Has your opinion changed on Sako then? He seems to be getting grumpier and grumpier if reports are true. Sunderland seem to be still fancying their chances, although no confirmed bid has come in for him again. What's your thoughts on Sako then, Gonzo?
Well, I mean, aside from the first derisory bid for Sako, there have been no bids for any of our players. We discussed that before. They came in with £6 million, which has ratcheted up with lots and lots of clauses. Apart from that, there have been no other bids for our players. My opinion on Sako hasn't changed. I still think he's the best striker we currently have at the club, but I do think he can be improved upon. Is he grumpy? I think he is grumpy. I think he needs an arm around the shoulder. I think he needs to know he's a regular starter, and I don't think he is at the moment. But the situation's actually quite weird, with him joining Allardyce, because if you remember, Allardyce wanted Connor Wickham, and you know this as well as I do, that when Allardyce originally couldn't get Connor Wickham, so they brought Sako over. Sako came over, then it looked like Allardyce was going to get Connor Wickham, and they actually Allardyce sent Sako back packing, and Sako was crying at the airport. And in the end, our chairman, David Sullivan, had to encourage him to come back, and Sullivan was very, very impressed with his attitude. So that's really why he signed, and the Wickham thing didn't come to fruition. I think you'd have to be mad to say that Wickham was a better player than Sako. So it's a shame to lose a player like that. But if his heart's not in it anymore, then then maybe he is going to go, and maybe it's best for all concerned if we can bring in two strikers who are going to stay fit. Plus, he's got African Nations Cup as well, so he would disappear in January as well. You
said no to 12 million, whatever it was. The last time we were on the call, you said no deal. I wouldn't sell him for that. Would you sell him for 11 million now?
No, because we don't have to, because every Premier League club has got a fortune. If Sunderland want him, they'll pay 15 million. Believe you me, I mean, even teams like Stoke and Palace, teams like that, will have a £35 million war chest, and Sunderland certainly will. So if they want him bad enough, they'll pay the 15 million. No one in the Premier League is skint anymore. The TV deal is huge. Let's get the money out of them.
Well, surely it works both ways, though. If every club's got a lot of money, then you don't need as much money from transfers as you did maybe a year ago. You can maybe take that hit of 4 million. I've been West Ham. You can take the hit of 4 million off the value of Sako just to get Grumpy out of the club, free up his wages, and let you get a new striker in ASAP. I know the club are saying we ain't selling until we've bought, but someone's going to have to, do the selling or the buying first and take the risk.
Yeah, but that's all right within the Premier League, because then everybody can do the same thing. Unfortunately, in Europe, there's skint. There's just no money in the other leagues apart from the super rich clubs. So England's got an excellent TV deal this year, and the rest of Europe knows it. So everyone's price has gone up by at least 10 million. So actually, we really need to get every bit of money we can, because whoever we buy is highly unlikely to come from the Premier League. Although I'd quite like to pair Benteke and Berahino up front would be one of my choices. But it looks like they'll come from abroad. And last season, Lacazette might have cost you 25 million. They're going to want 35 or something. There's another 10 million goes on top of everybody, as I say. So let's fleece Sunderland, really.
Well, today there was talk. Wallop, I went a huge bid from West Ham United. Here you go, Leon. Here's a bid of £32 million for Lacazette, as it looks like PSG are cooling off their interest a little bit on him. What's your thoughts, Gonzo? He's always been our #1 choice on the forum.
Yeah, I said a couple of weeks ago on one of our shows, I think PSG are interested in Morata. And at that point, they were never going to bring in two players. I think they're going to look to pay Juventus something like 45 million for him. The only thing that would stop that is Real Madrid have a buyback clause on him, which they may want to implement. But whether he'd want to do that, there's people. The authorities are looking into it, because they've got a buyback clause for 25 million. They want to buy him back and then sell to PSG with 45, get a profit. So there's something happening there. But PSG want him, so their interest has called on Lacazette. Sullivan's been like a dog with a bone on this one. He will not give up. He's a determined negotiator. Actually, Daniel Levy gets all the press for being a tough negotiator. But tell you what, Sullivan's not mucking around on this. So he wants him, and he's going all out to get him. And until he signs for somebody, he's not going to take no for an answer. 32
million, though, fair bit of cash for West Ham. Gonzo's, does it worry you? A big investment. You're thinking, this doesn't work. It's a huge, or is it a case of he is genuine, top quality, is best we can get at West Ham United for now? Pay what you have to.
I don't know if he's genuine top quality. I that league worries me, in all honesty. Having said that, Payet came from there and he did very well indeed. So I think it's such a lopsided league. I think PSG had it won with 3 months to go, and it's always difficult to judge how good a player is. I've not seen that much of him, and unlike what we said with La Liga, and which is a little bit more competitive, we have the three clubs contesting it, and Valencia doing well, and Sevilla obviously winning the Europa Cup every season. I don't think Olympique Lyonnais are a hugely prestigious team, so I'm not sure he is the finished article. Am I concerned about us spending 32 million? I've got to be honest with you. No, I'm not. Number one, it's not coming out of my wallet. Number two, I've longed for the days where we would compete for these transfer fees and be up there with a big boy. So I say bring it on. If someone's identified him as a good player, you've got to put your trust in somebody else, and let's have a look.
Well, do check out clienthugh.info for all your latest transfer news. I'm not going to read out some of the comments we got through on Twitter earlier today, and we'll gauge Gonzo's reaction on a couple of them. Adam Smith says, Sako needs to go. He's got poor attitude. Feghouli must sign. Lacazette, sign at all costs. Best option by far, and would score 20-plus goals. Sean Sweeney says, Sako can go. Get Lacazette at any price. Antonio could be a top right back. Toure and Feghouli equality should get them. Arthur Powell also kind of echoed their thoughts and said, Sako out, Hutchinson useful for a season, Feghouli brilliant for free, Toure good signing, Antonio right back is fine now, and Lacazette is amazing. And James Wellis said, disappointed if Sako goes, but he is injury prone. Toure and Feghouli would be great additions. Lacazette won't happen, so he's not too competent on the strikers. However, what's going on? It's just another summer, and everyone's happy with the transfers, aren't they? That's every comment we've had today has been people positive about Feghouli, positive about Toure. In May, in April, everyone was kicking off at Antonio right back, but now it seems like they're thinking, actually, I can put up with that if it means that we're getting Feghouli in and we're getting Toure in. I can sacrifice Antonio so I can see like genuine three quality attacking midfielders with our top striker. Can't have any complaints, can we?
Well, of course people are happy because we're not being linked with Joey Barton and Grant Holt, which is what people are used to. So, yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I think the one thing we've not discussed, of course, is Valencia is banging in goals for Ecuador and looking like I don't know, maybe it's the clone of the end of Valencia we've got at West Ham. He looks really, really good, which surely is pushing his value up. And Pulis, who I actually thought would be the guy to come to take Sako. Pulis likes Sako, we know this. You know, there's a little rumour in the wind, you know, that maybe West Brom might be interested in Valencia, which I've not heard many official sources. But yeah, so I mean, we could be looking for two strikers. So it's no good just saying Lacazette. I think it may well be Lacazette and one other, or you know, that's if we get Lacazette. But he tweeted, didn't he? Lacazette tweeted something about Payet, just tweeted Payet with lots of hearts or something or other. I don't know, smiley faces. Who knows? But yeah, they clearly like him, and people are going to come and play with Payet. He's been fantastic in that first game against France. He's our best player in the world at the moment.
Well, let us know what you are thinking at home over on our forum at hammerschat.com. We will be doing a Talk West Ham soon. If you don't know what that is, basically, we do this, we mean Gonzo, but we also invite you guys to call in with your webcam, join us as a third person, have a 5-minute chat with us, and you choose a topic as well. You can call in about the transfers, you can call in about Bilic being a pundit, you can call in about Payet at the Euros, and Randolph, he had a good game for Ireland today. You might fancy coming in to say Randolph should be our #1 keeper. It's up to you. We've obviously got the stadium move as well, so do call in. Keep your eyes out on social media and the forum for that. Also, like I said, clarity.info for all your latest news. We have a mobile phone app. If you haven't noticed, do go onto your Android, go onto your iOS. It's out on both. Type in West Ham app. It'll be there somewhere. I'll have our Hammers Chat icon, which Gonzo's pointing to right now on his screen. There you go. You can see Gonzo there pointing. That's the icon there to look out for. Do download it. It's totally free. It's got the forum, the videos from us, but you don't have to watch us as much as you don't want to. We've got the news from Clarity, blogs from West Ham Till I Die, the podcast from more than just a podcast, Sean, and of course we have Blown Bubbles, the best and biggest West Ham fanzine out there. So do download it today. And Gonzo, any final words before we bail?
Yeah, just really, you know, just what you were saying. Things are happening fast, and that news will be breaking on Claret. If it breaks anywhere, it's going to break on Claret and Hugh. He will then go in and confirm any news with his top sources. You'll get direct quotes. So go there and then come on and chat with us on the forum about it, and you'll probably get us talking a load of nonsense as usual.
Well, if you're around on Saturday, we will be in Stratford. We're having a wee pub crawl around all the boozers in Stratford. You're free to join us. 12:30 we're starting in the Railway Tavern, but do let us know if you're coming, because we are moving from pub to pub. So pop onto the forum. You can't miss it. The thread is at the top of the forum. It will be there all week. Everyone's welcome. I don't drink too much, but Gonzo does. You can buy him a drink. But thank you very much for watching. As we've been chatting about random stuff about West Ham, and we'll be back next week when there's news. Thank you very much.